What is up, y'all? It is your boy Winston Wolf. I'm back. I just want to do a quick review. The movie the world has been waiting for, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Spoiler alert, it is not a good movie. I don't think anybody expected this to be a good movie, but I will say this. It is slightly better quality-wise. I'm talking about the way it was shot than other movies like this. You've seen a bunch of gimmicky type movies like this where the only attraction is the Photoshop poster and the potential of what it could be. But any of these movies that are like a SNL skit stretched to feature length, they always look like they were shot with an iPhone 5. And speaking of feature length, I think this is only like an hour and 20 minutes long. And I always thought that movies, to have any kind of theatrical release, it had to be 90 minutes long, but I guess not. So the movie starts off with some animation. It's similar to the Winnie the Pooh books. They changed it. They changed everything oh so slightly. You know, because Winnie the Pooh now, the whole reason this movie exists is because Winnie the Pooh is public domain. Anybody can make a Winnie the Pooh project, but you can't make it like how Disney designed the characters or how the original illustrations are. And that's the same reason why when you see a million different Frankenstein projects and none of them look like Frankenstein with the flat head and the bolts on the necks, that's because that's Universal Pictures. That's their version of Frankenstein. So even though something's public domain, if you make your own version of it, you copyright it, you trademark it, whatever, you know, you still have that protected. So the animation style to start it off with, it's similar to the books. So pretty much Christopher Robins has been in, I don't know what the forest is called, the Forest of Enchantment or whatever. I'm sure it has some kind of name. I don't know. But, you know, he's with the Winnie the Pooh crew. He's having picnics, doing all that kind of stuff. He says he's there for years, but then he leaves to go to, I think they said to go to medical school. So he leaves. Something happens to the land, to the forest. They don't really say what happens, but the nights get super cold. There's no food for them to eat. So they're starving. They're getting all skinny and stuff. They end up eating Eeyore, and they feel bad about it. So they decide, they were like, you know what, Christopher Robins left us. We're going to renounce any type of humanity that we have, and we vow to never speak again. So they swear vengeance on Christopher Robins. Then it goes to live action with Christopher Robins, and they just get to the point really, really quick, which is one of the few things I respect about this movie. They immediately show him in the forest, and the dialogue goes right to what they're doing. He's just like, you think I'm crazy, don't you? To his girlfriend, Christopher Robin's girlfriend, hiking in the forest. He's trying to find the portal or whatever it was to get back to the Winnie the Pooh land. And she's like, no, I just think you were a young kid. Lots of kids have imaginary friends, da-da-da, but I'm here for you. He's like, cool. It's real. Trust me. So he finds the portal. He goes through. He immediately finds, like, Winnie the Pooh's hut or whatever it is. He goes in there, and you know something's wrong because you see like skulls and you see like moose antlers and stuff. So they've been killing animals and stuff like that. And he's like, something's wrong. I got to find out what's going on. So Winnie the Pooh comes in, and I'm gonna tell you right now, it's only Winnie the Pooh and its piglet. I can't remember if there was two pigs. Was there like a bigger pig and then his little homeboy piglet? Because I remember there was Eeyore, Tigger, Winnie the Pooh, Piglet. I swear there was another one. I can't think of it, but maybe I'm wrong. But it's just Winnie the Pooh and Piglet. And I'm going to tell you right now, these don't look like giant versions of Winnie the Pooh and Piglet. They look like two fat hillbillies with two Halloween masks on. They don't try to look like, behave like animals, nothing. It's pretty much whoever created this loved the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, knew they couldn't just remake Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but was like Texas Chainsaw Massacre in one hand, public domain Winnie the Pooh in the other hand, and in another hand, if I had another hand, there's an idiot that's willing to fund this so I can make this. That's pretty much all it is. So, big old hillbilly overall wearing fake leather face Winnie the Pooh and Piglet come inside the little hut, and Christopher Robinson's girl knows something is up, so they start hiding. They try to run out, and Winnie the Pooh grabs. It's either Winnie the Pooh or Pig. It doesn't matter. They're both pretty much the same character in this, just a fat hillbilly with a mask on. So they grab Christopher Robin's girlfriend and wrap a chain around her neck, and he's like, "Stop, Pooh! This isn't you!" And then they just squeeze the chain around the girlfriend's neck and just like break her neck. And her eye is kind of, when they show the body afterwards, the eyeball is kind of like popping out a little bit. So Christopher Robins is running around. They end up catching him. They end up, okay, they chase him around. They end up dragging him away. Then they get into like another little animation thing where it shows the title of the movie, and you kind of see them like torturing Christopher Robins or something. So you think he's dead. I'm spoiling it already. He's gonna come back. I'm just helping you. I'm telling you exactly what happened. So if you had any doubt, if you had any inkling, if you smoked a J and you're like, you know what, that idiot with the wolf mask was saying this wasn't a good movie. Let's go see it. Let's decide. I'm trying to give you every reason to save a few bucks and not waste your time. So he does come back. So they show them in the animation dragging Christopher Robins off, so you figure he's dead. Then they go back to live action. It's a girl at the therapist, and she's got some kind of like anxiety disorder because she has some stalker dude. And I can't remember exactly if he was like her landlord or something, but he was like getting in her apartment and he was doing creepy stuff. Like he was trying to like take the shoulder strap of her shirt down so he could get a peek while she was sleeping. He's looking in her windows. He's doing all this. So she's all like messed up. She's all got like super anxiety. She's scared. So of course, like in all these movies, like in Last House on the Left or whatever it was, and what was the other one? I Spit on Your Grave. In like movies like that, it's always like, hey, I'm a girl that's been traumatized. You know what'll make me feel better is going out to the deep, deep woods in some kind of cabin and staying out there in a town infested by hillbillies. And not only that, but just like so far away from any help if anything happens that I'm just at the mercy of whoever or whatever is attacking me. So they come up with another genius plan like that. But this time, instead of going out by herself, she brings like 5 friends. So you're like, okay, there's going to be more killing in here. Because you just think she's going to go out there by herself and she's just going to be terrorized. And you're like, yo, if they're killers, she's probably going to get away. You know, and if they do kill her, that's one murder. So you're just like, as a horror fan. But then once you see that they load up with a bunch of friends, you're like, oh yeah, there's going to be some killing. So they go out there, they're sitting around, you know, smoking, talking about traumatizing stuff, blah, blah, blah. So one by one, Winnie the Pooh. And I'm going to tell you right now, if I didn't already tell you, it's only Winnie the Pooh. And I think I already told you. It's only Winnie the Pooh and it's only Piglet. So through most of the movie, when you see them, you're thinking, who's the most popular character? It's Tigger. Tigger's always been the most popular character, at least for the last 25 years. I don't know about back in the day if Winnie the Pooh was running it, but it's been Tigger's world for the last 25 years. So you're waiting for him to show up or something. No, Tigger does not show up. You know what I'm saying? I think if they were going to salvage this movie, some version of Tigger at least popping up at some point in this movie would have at least been one of the few things where, like, you come back from seeing the movie, your girl or whatever who just refused to go see it with you because at least she was smart enough not to go see that garbage. She's like, so how was it? And you're like, I mean, like, Tigger was in it. You know what I'm saying? He took this girl's head and smashed it through a plate glass window, and then he chewed her ears off, and then he bounced up and down on her dead corpse. I mean, there was that. Tigger doesn't show up. But these two fat hillbilly idiots in masks are just chasing the girls around. They're killing them. One girl, they just chase inside like this like indoor. It's like one of those pools where you kind of swim in place or something like that. I can't remember. But he just cracks her in the head with a sledgehammer. Wow. Another girl, they chase down and Piglet like holds her down in the road. All of a sudden, you see Winnie the Pooh behind the wheel of a BMW. You're like, oh, so you know how to drive now. Okay. And he just like slowly runs over her head. And then, what are the other just lackluster murders in there? They just kill the girls in just the lamest ways. But all of a sudden, near the end, they're running down the road. I think it's like 2 girls left. They're running down the road. They're trying to get help. It's at night. They're out in the woods. All of a sudden, some hillbillies are driving down the road. There's 4 of them, and they get out. And they're like, help. They're like, what's going on? And they see, like, Winnie the Pooh coming down the... Oh, yeah, wait, no. Let me go back. Before that, a little bit before that, one of the girls, they, like, capture Piglet. And she just like blasts him in the head with something. I can't remember. Yeah, I think she hits him in the head with a sledgehammer. So it's just really lame. I'm gonna tell you this. Almost all this movie is pitch dark. It's pitch dark with maybe one or two lighting sources, and the lighting sources, it's like a floodlight through a window. That's it. So it's just, yeah, the craftsmanship ain't there with this. Anyways, back to the hillbillies. So the hillbillies, they run up on Winnie the Pooh and they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna teach you a lesson." And they start just blasting them with baseball bats and all. They're like surrounding them in the middle of the dark road. And then all of a sudden, one dude hits him over the head with a bottle. Like, you just be getting blasted with baseball bats and stuff. But that bottle, that's the final straw. Then he just immediately just claws some dude's like half the skin of his face off. Just starts killing the dudes. It's just really, really lame. So let me see. So kills one of the girls. So there's one girl left. And but you find out a little bit before that Christopher Robin is alive. He's at him like chained up. And there's a part where Winnie the Pooh is whipping Christopher Robin with like, I think it's his girlfriend's ponytail. It's some girl's ponytail, but he's all chained up in like a barn, and he's just whipping his back with this ponytail. And then they show Christopher Robin's back, and it looks like the chick's back from 12 Years a Slave, I think it was, when what's his name, Fassbender was going to town on her with the whip. That's what his back looks like from a girl's ponytail. So I'm okay. So Christopher Robin pops back up. Winnie the Pooh's chasing the last girl. He grabs her. Christopher Robin's like, "No, don't kill her. Take me. I'll go back with you. I'll go back and stay with you forever." And Winnie the Pooh's got this chick on her knees standing behind her with a knife to her throat. And he's like, "Oh, yeah?" And he just slices her neck and lets her go. And she kind of like on her knees runs over to Christopher Robin as she's bleeding to death. And he's holding her like, "No, no, no." And then lets her down. And then Pooh just comes over. Christopher Robin gets up and starts to run. He stops and looks back. And Winnie the Pooh is he's just repeatedly stabbing this girl in the head. Just over and over again. And then Christopher Robin just runs off. There's like a car burning in the background from those hillbillies. Somehow the car catches on fire. And Christopher Robin runs off as Winnie the Pooh is stabbing this girl repeatedly in the head. That's it. And then it ends. And you're sitting there waiting like, okay, maybe some kind of like, especially since it's based off of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you've gotten like, especially with that last movie that was on Netflix, which I don't care when anybody says, "I'm a die-hard." Hold on, look at this. See that in the corner? That's a life-size Leatherface over there. I love Leatherface. Texas Chainsaw is my favorite horror franchise. I don't care if there's only 2 good ones. I'm still holding out hope. But especially like with just pretty much a lot of horror, every horror movie in that last Texas Chainsaw, you get it to where, oh, we're safe, bam, it hits you with something, and then end the movie, to let you know, like, hey, there could be a sequel, or just something, just some kind of jump scare. No, they just end it, because I think at that point, they had some kind of dignity and respect for the intelligence of the crowd. They were like, okay, if you've paid to see this in the movie theaters, by now you're hating our guts. If we put something on the end to let you think that there's going to be a sequel, we're really insulting the intelligence of pretty much the entire human race. Like, let's just die with dignity. Let's just be like, this is it. It's the end of the movie. We're sorry. We can only hope that we can learn how to make, a movie with a micro budget due to the money that you've sacrificed to us. But hey, we're just going to end this now. We're going to let you go home. We're going to let you sleep this off, Because they know everybody's going to be like, that movie was terrible. And guess what? They actually think that people want to see a sequel. No, they actually had enough sense to not add anything else on that. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. 0 to 10 dog bone rating. Wow. I would say for the opportunistic nature of it, of somebody being that fast once Winnie the Pooh became public domain, I mean, it didn't just happen, but in order to make a movie, promote it, how long this has been promoted, actually get it into the movie theaters, man, you got to give them props for that. Because they sure as heck are going to bamboozle a lot of people out of their money. Because think about it this way. Those movies like Paranormal Activity, how much money do those pull down from idiots that get impressed by just a camera aimed at someone's bed in night vision and like doors closing on their own and blankets moving? So, come on, they're gonna get some money from this. Come on now. But let's see, because of the opportunistic nature of them, because of I can't think of any other reason to give this any kind of positive praise. I'll give it a 1, and that's being generous. That's being a horror fan. That's growing up off of the 80s classics, the greatest era in horror ever. So, I mean, that's a pretty, high standard to live up to, but it's either that or nothing. To wash this out of my brain, I'm going to watch Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. If you haven't seen that, what are you doing? Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. This is your boy Winston